happening, TwT fans? It's time for another episode of Talking with Topher. This is episode 261. It's April 3rd, 2025. And as always, I am so happy to still be alive. Let me start off the way I always do by saying thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You're what keeps me coming back week after week. If you're new, remember to subscribe. If you want your opportunity to tell your story or be a guest on this podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. The link tree is in the description below the video. Make sure you go and click that for everything TwT. And don't forget about all the links that I discuss in this episode will be right there. All right, now with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's get into today's episode. So what's happening, everybody? How are you doing? I am recording these back to back, so I got nothing right now. But we do have a lot to go over, so I just shook up my creatine. Anybody else taking creatine, trying to get their mind elevated? It's my, man, I don't get many days off anymore, so just trying to enjoy it. My anniversary's coming up, March 17th. And if you are a fan or you've been a guest or you're anybody who has been involved with the podcast or my personal life, you know that March 17th, 2024, I was arrested. So we are now 1 year separated from that mess, but I still have 4 years of damage control to pay for, and then it will all be behind me. So I'm just excited for that. It's nice to see the first year click. Oh man, I never thought it would go away, but it's slowly disappearing. But the financial burden that it left behind is still damaging, and I will be looking forward to getting that money back into the house in 4 years. Hopefully it turns into a new car, because I hate my Nissan. But instead of me rambling on like I always do, let's get into Topher's topics. All right. So my first one here is mother allegedly abandons children for years in deplorable conditions. The authorities say that the children were living amongst mold and piles of garbage. It's very disturbing, everybody. Let's watch this video, man. I'm telling you, people are twisted out there. They're twisted.
Now to Michigan, where police say a mother left her 3 kids home alone for several years. We're learning more about what was found inside that home as the mother faces charges. Police in Michigan discovering a house of horrors after a mother allegedly abandoned her children for years.
The evidence suggests that she effectively abandoned them to a revolting pit of refuse and squalor.
Prosecutors charging 34-year-old Kelly Bryant with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. They say she left her 15-year-old son and 2 daughters, ages 12 and 13, alone in a home for nearly 5 years.
Look at that
surrounded
place.
by mold
they're just showing
and
one room, but
trash
it
as
is
high as 4
disgusting.
feet.
Kind of reminds me of the commercials you see where animals are living in very deplorable conditions. Well, kind of take that times 10.
Bryant allegedly told her 3 kids never to answer the door or leave the house. Officials say the boy only came out of the house twice, once tragically just to feel the grass in the yard. They say once a week, Bryant would have delivery services drop off food. But recently, we're only getting 1 loaf of bread. When they were found last week, they had matted hair and toenails so long, it was a challenge for them just to walk.
At the hospital, the children struggled with completing basic hygiene tasks like flushing a toilet and brushing their teeth because they had not done it in years.
The children
Oh
had
my
not been in
God.
school since they were abandoned.
That's going to be a very long process to figure this all out. How did this ever happen, to have these kids fall through the cracks on so many levels with relatives, the community, and with schools?
Just a shocking story. The kids were found during a welfare check on their mother. They are said to be in good health. They are staying with a relative now. As for their mother, Bryant, she could face life in prison if she's convicted.
Lock her up. Throw away the key. Get her out of here. Oh my God, dude. That's crazy. Where's the dad? I like how the dad's not even mentioned. What's up with that? It's all the mother's fault. Where's the dad? Where is he? We're not gonna talk about dear old dad. I think that's kind of wrong. That should be a 50-50 split between the two of them. Wonder why. I guess the male is just not expected to be around, you know? It's very interesting. I was also listening to YMH last night, and the guest, I think it was Andrew. No. Yeah, it was. Wasn't Santino. It was Schultz. Andrew Schultz was on. And he said that his dad took an unpaid leave when he was first born. And he was with him between 3 and 6 months. And he said he grew a tremendous bond with his dad. So maybe there's something to men taking that time and bonding with their children after they're born. There could be something to it. I still think that saying that you're taking maternity leave as a man, it just doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to take maternity leave. How about we just call it like a small vacation or something? I don't know. I think the wording of it sounds incorrect to me, but what he said made a lot of sense, and if it is true, then maybe more men need to be bonding with the babies in the beginning. But don't you find it kind of humorous that the whole thing that they were talking about, the father was not mentioned once? Not once. Where's dear old dad? Why is he not in the picture? What's going on here? Meta to form team focused on AI-powered human robots. Yay, human robots and more AI. I was hoping there was going to be a video on this. So Meta is reportedly forming a new team that will be devoted to developing artificial intelligence-powered humanoid robots. The team will be within the company's Reality Labs hardware division, Bloomberg reported Friday. Citing unnamed sources, it will be led by Mark Whiten, the former CEO of General Motors Cruise self-driving division, and will add about 100 engineers this year. Meta did not immediately reply to the PYMNTS apostrophe request for comment. This one here, Meta plans major investment into AI-powered. Meta is investing in AI-powered humanoid robots focusing on household tasks and AI infrastructure for third-party manufacturers led by Mark Whiten. The initiative aims to advance robotics using Meta's AI and AR, VR expertise. So they are pushing to put this AI in the humanoids, everybody, and they are going to be doing this rapid fire. These robots are going to be able to do things in the next 6 weeks that probably most of us can't even do in our lifetime. So it is here. It is. They are pushing it, and I don't know if this is the right decision, everybody. I really don't. It seems like we're kind of moving a little too fast here. It's like that when you go in for that first kiss on that first date, maybe it's a little too fast. Maybe it's a little too fast right now. Put the brakes on. Wait till the second date. I think we should slow this stuff down. I think it's moving way too fast. And the reason I say that is because now a $16,000 Chinese robot goes full kung fu on a human. Does a 720-degree spinning kick. Now, we got video on this, which makes me super pumped. But these robots are going crazy. It looks like it's just 11 photos. So stupid. Show me a video. Here we go. I got the video for you. I found it. Check this out. This robot's going to do some kung fu-y. Oh, shit, dude. That was actually really good. Dude, that's so scary. That's so scary. You want to know what else is scary? Check this out right here. This is wild, everybody. Absolutely wild. China's humanoid robot cycles and tackles chores with zero training. Dude, this is crazy. I don't know if you can see the picture. Here's a picture of the robot riding a bicycle. What? I mean, do they need to ride bicycles, everybody? Do they need to ride bicycles? Why are we teaching them how to ride a bike? You know you can't forget how to ride a bike. So what are we doing? This is crazy. All right, but we got a video for this. This is wild, man. Watching this little, look at how little the robot is. It's tiny. I think it's about 4'7", 74.6 pounds. Yeah, 4.3 feet tall. And dude, this is so wild. All right, I can't play music. So he comes rolling in on a scoot. Look at, he's on a hoverboard. I bet you he can do it better than anyone. Look at this self-driving bike. It's crazy. Look at this thing. It is on a pedal bike, everybody. It's pedaling a bike. So these robots are going to be like, first of all, if they're chasing us, we're already caught. They're not going to need a bike to catch up. Look at it. It's just sitting there in the chair. What? New AG bot, Ling X2 humanoid robot. 4.3 feet tall and weighs in at 74.6 pounds. Look at it. Look at it. It's like hide and seek. It's like poking around a corner. It's got big old bubble shoes, almost like Crocs. I'm glad they're not Crocs, though, but they kind of look like it. Showing us the power that it has. Ooh. Oh, wow. Look at the mobility of that thumb. Yeah, they are very precise now, huh? Man, it just keeps getting better. This robot is threading a needle through a grape. Now they're kind of just showing us all the ways that it sees and moves and how it determines what to pick up and not pick up. I don't know if it's talking at this point. Probably not. Oh, he's all done charging. Oh, he wants to help him charge. There you go, buddy. What's he got? Is that a gun? It's a little toy gun. But he's not, he can't pull the trigger on it. Oh, putting iodine on a cut. Picking up tools, putting them in a box. Huh. Whoa. Oh, he whipped it to recycling. Dude, these things are crazy. The amount of movement that they have is wild, everybody. It's so crazy to me. And why are we teaching them how to ride a bike? Why? Is it just so we feel like they're more like us? I think we're trying to normalize this in a sense, but at the same time, this stuff is super, super freaky to me. But now they can do kung fu right? You know? And what? They can ride bikes. The last one I showed you, it could run 10.4 miles per hour, outrunning a human. These things are doing everything we can do and more in less time than I ever thought. Wow. Isn't that crazy? This is moving so rapidly. Man, where do you think we're going to be 6 weeks from today? Which is technically 9 weeks from this recording. All right, we're going to get into some theories now. I'm kind of moving through this one. I have an appointment to make, but what's happening to the water, everybody? What is happening to the water?
Something strange is happening to the water in the seas. It is getting much farther away from the shores and is not coming back. In this footage, scuba divers were just caught at the moment when the water began to leave sharply. There are reports of the strange behavior of the seas from around the world. This is the empty shore of Thailand. Locals say they've never seen such a low tide. Next, the water moved away dramatically in Crimea and Turkey, and then Spain. The water just moved away from the shores and it's not coming back. Even off the coast of Africa, it's the same anomaly. In addition to tides, fish began to behave strangely. They massively gather in flocks and swim somewhere, and deep water individuals living at a depth of 3 kilometers rising to the surface. But what is the cause of this phenomenon? At first, it was associated with the moon because it affects the tides through gravity, but nothing has changed on the moon. Many suggest that this is all a harbinger of doomsday. Others generally think that something big has woken up at the bottom of the ocean and is causing the anomalies. What do you think is happening to the seas?
Isn't that interesting? Something large has awoken in the bottom of the ocean, and it's like a whale or whatnot, and so it opens up its mouth and sucks in all that water, which is taking it away from our coastlines. Or could it be the water retracting for a doomsday situation? That sounds more plausible to me than a giant creature at the bottom of the ocean waking up. But wouldn't a giant creature at the bottom of the ocean waking up be so much fun? That sounds way more fun than just total devastation coming our way shortly from a shift in what our plates, or a shift somewhere, or maybe something broke open at the bottom of the ocean and now the water's filling it. You know, all those secret caverns and stuff that's under there. Or maybe we dug something out we shouldn't have. Or maybe we put a turbine and it didn't hold and it made a puncture. I don't know. Make stuff up, man. Why is the water retreating? Why is it retreating? Why is it doing this? I don't know. Is it a creature? Is it Mother Nature? Or is it just what always happens and we're just catching it and talking about it because it's a little weird right now? You know? Who knows? But I do believe there's more to the fish moving around and the way the weather's acting and the oceans and everything else. I'm telling you right now, it's from manipulation, everybody. It's from manipulation. That's what happens. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, so I hope you're entertained. But at the end of the day, man, a monster really does sound fun. It really does. That'd be crazy, bro. All right, so could Donald Trump be a time traveler, right? Could he be a time traveler? I don't know. Have you seen I couldn't find it, but there's a book, The Adventures of Baron Trump, that was written in, it was either the late 1800s or the early 1900s, by some guy who wrote the book. And what happened is a lot of the stuff that's in that book are kind of happening today. A lot of the locations that Barron was in, he's It's just got a little bit of a different twist on it in reality. But the similarities are extremely close. So now everybody's wondering if Trump is a time traveler. There's a lot of stuff linking to this. This video is over 5 minutes long, and we'll just have some fun with it. But is Trump a time traveler? Maybe.
One sec, just calculating the odds that Donald Trump actually is a time traveler. And they say he pulled it off with the help of Nikola Tesla. Hey, someone get this nut job off the internet already. Listen, I'm about to spit a series of pure facts, as I usually do, that support this insane theory. Feel free to fact check any of these and make your own independent decision on what you think. Nikola Tesla was an imaginative inventor in the early 1900s with a keen interest in time travel. That's a fact. According to reports, in 1895, he made a shocking discovery suggesting, not confirming, that time and space could be influenced by magnetic fields. After which he's quoted as saying he could see the past, present, and future all at the same time. When Tesla passed away in 1943, the FBI and Office of Alien Property seized his research and handed it to a team for study, among whom was John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle and a well-respected electrical engineer at MIT. This all actually happened. John G. Trump claimed Tesla's documents did not include new sound workable principles or methods for realizing any results, which may be trying to downplay what Tesla's work was truly capable of. In 1952, after a U.S. court declared Sava Kasanovich, Nikola Tesla's nephew, the rightful heir to his uncle's estate, Tesla's files and other materials were sent to Serbia, where the nephew lived, and they now reside at the Nikola Tesla Museum. But while the FBI originally recorded some 80 trunks of documents among Tesla's work, only 60 trunks arrived in Serbia. Maybe they packed the 80 into 60, but there is the possibility that someone kept the missing documents. So, John G. Trump receives 80 trunks of Tesla's confiscated documents, some of which have never been shown to the public, and only 60 are returned. Keep this story in mind, because we barely even grazed a tip. Now, a lawyer and writer named Ingersoll Lockwood lived in New York City around the same time that Tesla did, in the late 18 to early 1900s. In the 1890s, Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a book called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, which just so happens to share the same name as Donald Trump's son. The book is about an aristocrat boy named Baron who lives in Trump Castle, who gets bored of his life of luxury and decides to go on an adventure. Baron comes into possession of a 15th century manuscript titled A World Within a World, written by a man named Don, who sort of acts as a spiritual mentor throughout the story. Through this manuscript, he travels to Russia to find a portal that leads him into the Hollow Earth and go on a time travel adventure. A pretty standard work of fiction, but an awful lot of coincidences in there if you ask me. Then in 1896, Lockwood writes another book called 1900, or The Last President, in which an unlikely wealthy candidate becomes president of the United States. In the book, no one thought this person would win, so riots break out in New York City claiming, and I quote, "The Fifth Avenue Hotel will be the first to feel the fury of the mob." Trump Tower happens to be on Fifth Avenue in New York City. In The Last President, the president also announces a Secretary of Agriculture named Pence, the same name as Trump's past vice president. Then, when he runs again in 1900, an uproar arises and the Capitol is struck by dynamite and destroyed. A fiasco in the Capitol building following an uproar from a presidential election. Where have we seen that before? The official synopsis of the book claims it laments or mourns the Democrat Party's socialist platform of 1896. Hey, I ain't touching that one. And finally, a quote near the end of the book reads, "As the dawn broke cold and gray, and its first dim light fell upon that shattered dome," referring to the Capitol building, relax, "glorious even in its ruins, a single human eye filled a gleam of devilish joy, looked up at it long and steadily." A single human eye? Gleam of devilish joy? What exactly are they talking about here? In a book written over 120 years ago, almost like it knew what was gonna happen in the future, during a time which Tesla was toying with time travel, whose documents were seized by the uncle of the person named in the book, and sorta outlines his political career. The theory goes, meaning this part right here is not a fact, John G. Trump took Tesla's documents, used them to make a time machine, and shared that tech with his family, who then used it to travel through time and warn the world of impending doom through a series of books. Why be so cryptic about it, and warn the world through books instead of just outright telling us? The time traveler's dilemma. If we're outright warned by someone from the future about some impending doom, the perpetrators of that doom will come up with another plan as their original one had been foiled. Crazy, 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 insane, ridiculous nonsense. Time travel is impossible, and it never will be, right? Famed PhD physicist Michio Kaku doesn't seem to think so. Quoted as saying, once confined to fantasy and science fiction, time travel is now simply an engineering problem. In 2003. Might be possible is still very far from confirmed, but it also means it's not 100% impossible. Even the Google debunker's beloved Snopes fact-checking website calls this particular theory mostly true, deriving the mostly from a handful of nitpick technicalities, like Dawn isn't his real name in the book, it's just a title for a man and such. One coincidental fact? Sure. 2, 3 maybe even, why not? But 14 factual coincidences with absolutely no connection whatsoever? What are the chances of that? Hey yo, somebody run those facts back and let me know. I think they're catching on.
See? Isn't that wild? I had to let the whole thing play, everybody. I had to let it all play because I forgot that the book was in this one. And that puts it all together. The book, 14 different things were pointed out that are actually happening today. Happening today. How is that? I don't believe in coincidences. I don't. But I also don't believe in time travel. So I'm in a pickle, aren't I? But wouldn't that be wild? So what does that mean? Is Donald Trump our last president? So what? This is over in 2028? Or is what we know today over in 2028? And we will bring a new, maybe a new everything. I don't know, but it's wild to think about, man. It's, like he said, the book was written over 120 years ago. And it's so spot on. It's crazy. I got to get this book. I got to figure out where to get this book, everybody. But I need to look into this even further. It is just mind-blowing. Now, former head of the FBI confirms that 9/11 was orchestrated at the highest level by the U.S. government, Oklahoma City bombing, JFK, RFK assassinations, World Trade Center, and child sex trafficking by the military, CIA, and politicians. Now, this goes on for over 20 minutes. He does say a few things within the first, 2-3 minutes.
Actually, I had quite an illustrious career, 27 and a half years in the FBI. And in those 27 and a half years, I had 13 assignments, so I moved around the country. The only part of the country I never did live in was really the extreme northeast U.S. So also during my career, I handled just about everything. I was counter-espionage, counter-terrorism in New York and Connecticut, and I negotiated with some skyjackers at Philadelphia International Airport for 2.5 hours, July the 12th, 1972. And I ended up being in charge of most of Southern California. Had over 700 personnel under my command. I personally investigated the Oklahoma City bombing case, huge cover-up. Jack Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. Bobby Kennedy's assassination, huge cover-up. World Trade Center, huge cover-up. Okay, terrorism. They're using it as an excuse to take away our constitutional rights and our civil liberties. The Bilderbergs. I'm Ted L. Gunderson, a 27-year veteran of the FBI who retired in March of 1979. At the time of my retirement, I was the senior special agent in charge of the FBI Los Angeles Division with more than 700 personnel under my command and a budget of $22.5 million. I was an agent on the street for 9.5 years, and then I advanced administratively. I was a supervisor, and then I was number 2 man in Connecticut and Philadelphia, and assistant special agent in charge was the title. And then I became a chief inspector, and then I was agent in charge in Memphis, Dallas, and the senior special agent in charge in Los Angeles, because I had 3 other special agents in charge under me and 24 supervisors under them. I have information chiseled in stone, documented, that the FBI had advanced knowledge about 911 and did nothing to prevent this from occurring. And this is atrocious, it's unbelievable, having been a former FBI agent myself. And it's very obvious that this whole thing is being orchestrated by the powers that be at the highest level of our government, and I want the world to know about it. The minute I saw the planes fly in to the tower on television, live as a matter of fact, the question I had in my mind was, there is no way, absolutely no way, that somebody could skyjack 4 planes, 20 people, skyjack 4 planes, in this case 19 individuals, and our government would not know about it in advance. We have, the U.S. government, the most advanced intelligence techniques of anybody in the world. And you'll never convince me we didn't have advanced knowledge about what was going on.
Is it? Have you not thought this yourself? Is the entire world not on the, well, is all of America not on the same page? Tower 7 was a controlled destruction. I'm not, anybody who knows anything about construction or buildings, how they fall, whatever. But when you see something and it can only happen one way, you start to go, well, how can you say it was this? Because when this happens, this is supposed to happen. And that did not happen. Watch that video. Is it possible that this was set up by our government? I've had strong feelings about this for a long time. I think it's very plausible that there was money hiding in the Pentagon. There was documentation of missing funds, and they made that disappear. World Trade Center, I'm sure there was enough evidence inside either one of those buildings to put a lot of people away. Something, even Tower 7, like there was stuff that was being investigated at the time of this happening. And as soon as this all was over, all the things that they were investigating had to come to a stop because there was no more investigating because it was gone. It's a little too on the nose for me. But, I mean, if you want to get into, like, what is going on, like, this is footage from inside the WTC building 7 on 9/11 after the destruction of the Twin Towers. This 47-story steel-framed skyscraper completely collapsed due to office fires a few hours later. Now, the caption above the video says, "Notice anything interesting?" I watched this video. It goes on for 3 minutes. And the only thing I didn't notice was any offices on fire. Doesn't look like there's any fires in the building, period. And I did also notice so many people going back inside an empty building that's already been evacuated. So check this out, though. All of this means something. I just don't know what it is. But for you out there right now, this is for entertainment purposes only. Oh, and there's going to be a loud alarm and fire thing going off. I'll try to turn the volume down. But it's the camera view of somebody, and this guy's running into this building. So he starts following him. They go into the building. They go up the stairs. It's getting really dark in there. Oh, there's somebody at the top of the stairs.
Stay on that. On the last one.
Oh.
Nobody up on 23? No, they evacuated everybody down. All right, they're probably going to the bus. Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, I guess that guy was just there to see if anybody needed help getting out. It's crazy, man. Look what... the damage done, huh? I never realized how extensive it was, to be honest with you. I mean, 2 massive buildings falling. There must have been debris for months.
Did the side of the building come down?
I don't know. Something fell. What'd you see?
It was pretty clear at one point, and then there's a whole bunch of smoke and glass. And I think we're just about the last ones in this building right now. I think you should leave. Everybody else is gone.
Okay.
I'll just make sure that there's nobody else coming
What do you
downstairs.
think happened?
I hear the top of the building fell down. Fell over on us. I don't know. I haven't seen outside yet.
Have you, when were you here?
Pardon me?
Here after the planes landed?
As a matter of fact, we're standing right underneath 6th World Trade when the building actually, the plane hit it the first time.
Describe it.
We had a plane, the engine screaming, and then just an explosion. Glass. Then everybody was running around trying to get away.
Have your name and spell it?
Bennett. Bennette.
Sergeant?
No, Secret Service.
Secret Service? How do you want your title?
OST.
OST? Thank you.
All right.
I haven't noticed any office fires. There's somebody else. Look at more people coming in. Where are they going? It's crazy. Up to main lobby and elevator. So crazy, man. If this really was set up by our government, what an awful, awful thing to do to everybody if this is absolutely true. But, of course, for you, it's entertainment only. But, I mean, it's something to think about, you know? I don't put it... I can't say that I don't believe that it's possible that they could have done something like this because we've seen the things that they are actually capable of doing. And unfortunately, it's pretty horrific. And it just seems like they don't care about collateral damage or anybody's actual lives. It's whatever is going to make their situation better. You know, whatever I have to do to make this go away, make sure nobody can look into it, make sure these papers disappear, whatever it happens to be. But I didn't see a single office fire. So if that's the answer to that question, I'm hoping I got it right. But how did that building collapse? There was no fires in there. What fires? What caused that building to collapse? Why did that building have to collapse? Why were there so many people still going in? If you've got it all evacuated, right, then shouldn't you be signaling people that are out there, hey, this building is empty. Nobody else needs to come in here. And then somebody should be downstairs, I don't know, taping it off. Caution, stay out. Empty building, could collapse. I want to see something that tells me that this is a possibility. But I didn't see any of that. And that's what I noticed about that video. But really, really interesting. Where did this lost footage come from? You know, how long after that happened did it take to get the people out of the building? Was there nobody in the building at all? You know, he's like, we got it evacuated, but the building just seemed kind of abandoned anyways. So I'm wondering if maybe that building wasn't even being utilized, you know? But there's other stuff going on today, too. Now, I am not exactly jumping on board with this, but there have been some leaders in the world that have been taken out, and some interesting facts about these leaders and how evil we made them out to be is becoming false information. And the actual reasons behind these leaders, dictators, whatever you want to call them, their deaths, what was behind their deaths, were all kind of linked to the same thing: currency. And going back to the gold standard and getting away from the Rockefellers and the US dollar is what seems to be the link between all of them. But what I'm talking about today is Gaddafi. So supposedly, now I am just here reading some stuff and I'm here for entertainment purposes only, but the real reasons why Gaddafi was killed, let me put it up on the screen for you. Libya had no electricity bills. Electricity came free of charge to all of its citizens. 2, there were no interest rates on loans. The banks were state-owned. The loan state-owned. The loan of the citizens by law, 0%. 3, Gaddafi promised not to buy a house for his parents until everyone in Libya owns a home. 4, a newlywed couples in Libya received 60,000 dinars from the government, and because of that, they bought their own apartments and started their families. 5, education and medical treatment in Libya are free. Before Gaddafi, there were only 25% readers. 83% during his regime. So he actually brought up education. He was giving people homes. This is crazy. I didn't know any of this. If they cannot receive treatment in Libya, the state would fund them $2,300 plus accommodation and travel for treatment. So they were sending people to go get like cancer treatments that they couldn't do. If you bought a car, the government financed 50% of it. 9, the price of gasoline became 14 cents per liter. What? How'd you get it so low? I would love to pay 14 cents a gallon. I know a liter is less than a gallon. Libya had no external debt and reserves were 150 billion. Now frozen worldwide. What? Since some Libyans can't find jobs after school, the government will pay the average salary when they can't find a job. The average salary? That's more than unemployment will do. Come on. This guy sounds like a saint. It's crazy. Part 12. Part of the sales in Libya are directly linked to the bank accounts of all citizens. Wow, so everybody made money from sales? The mother who gave birth to child would receive 5,000. 14. 40 loaves of bread cost 15 cents. Gaddafi has implemented the world's biggest irrigation project known as the Big Man Project to ensure water availability to the desert. Now, as I scroll, this picture does not do justice. He looks like an evil, evil person. But I believe that's because of the way we've actually portrayed him. But supposedly this is a great man that was doing great things by doing all of this for his country, or Libya. Maybe that's just, yeah, that's a country. This sounds amazing. And then what? We turned him into this evil, evil thing? Remember when Hillary Clinton said, "We came, we saw, he died." Ha ha. And the media reported that she triumphantly took out a sponsor of terror. Well, here is what really happened. and it tells you everything you need to know about the psychopaths that have been in control and power in the West. And if you don't think the Clintons are straight up murderers, then you don't read or look into enough things, because, man, they have made a lot of people disappear. A lot of people disappear, everybody. And I'm probably going to disappear just for saying it. But this is wild. Listen to this.
Do you remember this interview when Hillary Clinton said, "We came, we saw, he died"? Well, she was talking about Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, and he had just overseen the construction of the Great Man-Made River, which people were calling the eighth wonder of the world. It required 1,700 miles of underground pipes, 1,300 water wells. This thing was absolutely massive. And Gaddafi famously said that we will turn the desert green, and he would offer free land and livestock to citizens who were willing to start farms. And if you got married and agreed to start a family, you would be eligible for $50,000 in loans at 0% interest. These were massive pro-Libya, pro-family policies. And he was transitioning the Libyan dinar back to the gold standard. There was talk of it becoming the official currency of Africa. But of course, that would be a massive threat to the Western banking powers. And he was talking about selling petroleum in the Libyan dinar, which again would be a major threat to the Western banking powers, because the dollar is not backed by gold, it's backed by oil, and the dollar is the world reserve currency. This is why I write children's books on the banking system. So they didn't just kill Gaddafi, they bombed the Great Man-Made River and the factory that made the pipes. But all we get from the powers that be is lies. But we can teach our kids about the banking powers, fake news, how information is controlled, rights fundamental to being an American. It's what freedom requires.
What? Isn't that absolutely insane? I mean, we have all been fed the truth of him being just an evil person, evil to his people, evil, 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 awful person. Had to be taken out. Or was it a way to just make sure that the almighty dollar stayed almighty? But what's going on with the gold, everybody? Are we trying to start a new gold standard? Because it somewhat feels like we are. So if we're just not going to let anybody else do it, but it's going to be cool when we do it, right? I mean, to see and hear these things and to read up on what was going on in Libya, I mean, he was doing great things. He wanted to turn the desert green. He was going to turn it green. But, you know, you read about the bombings of that, the bombings of the factory that made all the pipes for it, how we turned. I mean, how did we get all those people to riot like that? What did we promise them? How? And what did we do to cause the citizens of Libya to completely and absolutely murder that man? Is it because of the gold standard and the oil? Or was he an evil person? I'll tell you right now, the stuff that I've read and looked into, it's really looking like our government needed to shut down his project because it was going to send a ripple in all of ours. Wild, wild stuff, everybody. All right, here's something that is just really fun. Now, this was taken down, everybody. It was taken down. I have downloaded the PDF. I am going to share it in the link. I am holding on to it tight because I will send this to anybody who wants to read it. But who wants to learn how to walk through walls, huh? Who? I do. I want to learn how to walk through walls, and I now have the patent for it. So let me play this for you, everybody. This is so fucking wild, man. But if we got robots that are doing kung fu and riding bikes, why can't I walk through walls, huh? Why can't I? You can't tell me I can't. I'm going to walk through some fucking walls, everybody. It's so funny.
Is from one of the strangest patents in the entire U.S. Patent Office. This is U.S. Patent number 2006-001-4125A1, or the Walking Through Walls Training System. According to the abstract on the patent that you can all go and read yourselves, this invention is a training system which enables a human being to acquire sufficient hyperspace energy in order to pull the body out of the third dimension, so that a person can walk through solid objects such as walls or wooden doors. This patent is very real and was taken incredibly seriously by members of the U.S. military, especially by the U.S. Army's 1st Earth Battalion, a real unit in the Army that based their principles upon the Jedi Order from Star Wars. What do you guys think about this? Damn it. Which is from one of the
I think it's very interesting, and I will show everybody what I got right here. Check this out. It is the actual patent. It is, you can see the U.S. serial number. It was published 2006. It's Walking Through Walls Training System. There's a bunch of stuff on here that I don't understand, but it does go through it. It is 27 pages long, the entire patent on how to walk through walls, people. So if you have nothing to do right now, you are bored out of your mind, get that PDF. It's in the description below the video, and see if you can understand any of this, because all I see is a bunch of circles and A's and B's, and there's some stuff in here explaining it, but I put your experience on TikTok. I'm sure you'll get tons of views as we all run into doors and walls trying to go through them. But I mean, it is very interesting. Hey, there's all kinds of shit that our government has patented or tried, and is it plausible that we can walk through a solid wall? I doubt it. But why are they taking this patent down? Why have they taken it down on Twitter, Instagram? As soon as my friend sent it to me, I downloaded it because I was worried it was going to disappear. 30 minutes later, it was gone. I think that was on Facebook. So I've already named 3 social medias that have torn it down. Why are they tearing it down? Why is this patent not allowed to be out there if it's not real? Why are you burying it and making it disappear? Because there's something to it. There's something to it. I don't know what it is. Are you going to be able to walk through a wall? Probably not. Probably not. But what if you figure something out by looking at the patent itself? Maybe there's something more to the patent than just walking through walls. I'm just saying. They're tearing it down for a reason, everybody. Now, this right here, I'm going to let the whole thing play. I will be honest with you. I checked it. It is actually put out by Alex Jones. The video does not look doctored or faked. I did not look into the 2 people that he named to see what was going on. Maybe I can do it in the middle of the video. But if this is real, then we need to be telling everybody what's going on. And everybody needs to keep an eye on Alex Jones. I don't care if you like him or not. Nobody who is telling us the truth about anything should die for any reason. Whether you agree with what they're saying or not, they don't deserve to die. Nobody does. And if the things that he says in this video are true, this is really, really kind of freaky, scary, worrisome. But this is insane, everybody. It's absolutely insane, and I do not know if it's been taken down yet, but let's play it and get it out there. Listen to this shit.
All right, I've got some very critical news to everyone out there, not just to InfoWars, but to the people of America and the world, because my operation is a major canary in the coal mine, indicating where humanity is in their fight against the globalist, extinctionist death cult. As you know, our reporter Jamie White was murdered late Sunday night and was shot execution style through the neck a few miles from our offices outside his home. Then yesterday, Chase Geyser got swatted during the day. No one was home. And then last night, someone impersonating him called the Austin Police Department and said that he had basically tied up his wife and children and was going to kill them. And they came to the house with loudspeakers, told him to come out with his hands up, guns pointed at him, put him in handcuffs, went into the house and found his wife and 2 young.
Just want to point out in the few moments that we've already been listening to him, InfoWars reporter shot dead. Austin, Texas. A homicide investigation is underway after a reporter from InfoWars by conspiracy theorist Alex Jones was shot dead outside of his apartment complex in Austin, Texas, according to police. So I'm not even going to look up the swatting or anything else because it's real. This is real, everybody. This isn't faked. This isn't made up. There's 75 different news articles just on this one man's assassination. And they all say the same thing. He was shot through the neck, and I found that in 30 seconds.
Young daughters sleeping. And they said, no, someone called in impersonating you. They had literally dozens of swats that they didn't respond to after the daytime one. Now, that's just the backdrop of what's going on. I've had some high-level folks in Army Special Operations call me 2 days ago saying that they're getting major intel that there are hit teams out with a high priority to kill me and others. Then I got a call last night about 7 o'clock from a extremely respected journalist. They don't want their name used at this point. Just leave it at that. Who got a call from a very trusted source in high-level intelligence that said they've never seen the 3 hits in the NSA system with anybody but President Trump or his family at this level. So this is the highest level international crime systems is how they work. Basically a hit order out on myself of the highest level there is. They said it's at the same level as Trump being targeted. And they said they've never seen it in all their years. No one in these agencies, you can imagine which agency. Now you can say that's a threat from that agency to me, but this person is very respected by this other person that I really respect. So they've been a really good source of information over the years. So this is an indicator of how scared the globalists are. And of course I asked, well, why are they so upset? And they said, well, it's obviously Ukraine, the fact that the president listens to you, the fact that Musk listens, the fact that we're on in the Situation Room. Trump watches the show. I'll just leave it at that. And we have the intel on how they're trying to crash Social Security to blame Doge and how they're planning a mess of false flag against a migrant protest to be blamed on ICE and Tom Homan and Trump to trigger civil unrest and martial law plans. So it's really because we're laying out the globalist blueprint from their own admissions and battle plans, but we're really popularizing the understanding of that within the Trump administration, and the bad guys see it as that I'm basically giving everybody the intel, not just my audience, but a high level. And so that's why they don't care about making me a martyr at this point. The directive is out there. I just want to say this. I'm exactly where I want to be. I want to take down the globalist, and obviously I take precautions, and I'm not suicidal, and I want to live as long as possible and have children I got to take care of. But this is where I want to be. I'm a warrior, and I've known the whole time what I've got myself into, and so is my crew. And I just want you to pray for us, and please pay attention to what we do at Real Alex Jones on X and Infowars.com, because this is all coming to a head right now, and history's happening. And so what we're doing is hurting the globalists, because it's the truth, and they particularly fear what we're doing in Infowars. So God bless you all. Please join us this morning, 8 a.m. with Harrison Smith, myself at 11 a.m., Owen at 3. Take clips, share them, because this is kryptonite to the bad guys. Please pray for us. Please pray for Jamie White and his family. But I've only begun to fight. Never surrender. God bless you all. I'm now intensifying my efforts, because we know when you're over the target, you're getting the flag. God bless you all.
Alex Jones, I believe you. I believe that you're completely and absolutely where you want to be. I believe you are not suicidal, and I believe that somebody is trying to kill you. So I believe if you happen to perish or die, that this was a hit and he was taken out. Really scary that one of his reporters was assassinated through the neck, like on her front doorstep. Absolutely terrifying. Man, the most I worry about is YouTube tearing down my channel if I friggin' share a video I shouldn't, or I say something that disagrees with their algorithm. Like, that's my major fear. And I don't even get paid for this stupid shit. But to actually be out there doing what you're doing and to have people want you dead for it, you're right. You're right. You're above the target. You're above the target, man. You're getting ready to grab that flag. And this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I want Doge to expose. This is why I voted for Trump. And this is why I still pay attention to Alex Jones, because they are tearing this system apart and they're exposing them for everything that they are doing. And I absolutely commend all of you for it, because it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome, everybody. Man, wild shit going on. Can't wait for next week, everybody. It's going to be a good one. All right, well, another pod in the books, everybody. As always, I thank all of my subscribers out there. I greatly appreciate you all. If you're new, remember to subscribe. If you want your opportunity to be a guest or tell your story, talkinwithtopher at gmail.com is the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out. And the link tree, it's in the description below the video, along with all of the links and that patent to walk through walls. So hopefully by Easter, we're all walking through walls. All right, everybody? I want everybody to try it. And like I said, put it on TikTok. If you slam into a wall, you might get some views off of it. It could be funny. But as always, I hope everybody out there has an amazing rest of your Thursday. I hope you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you